All right. Okay, everybody. So let's just settle into our meditation posture. Try and bring your mind to the same place your body is. And we're going to try and get in touch with that place of stillness. So just check your sitting posture. If you are in a position where your legs are down, you're in front of your computer, try and have your feet in a parallel position. Tom, I'll just run through that now. So if you're sitting on a chair, feet down on the ground in a parallel position, and just try and feel these soles of your feet making contact with the floor, with the earth. And then if you're sitting in a cross-legged position, so you're sitting maybe on a chair on the floor with the legs crossed, if you're tight-hipped, you can put some cushions underneath either knee. The important thing is to make sure you're sitting on top of your sit bones. You can have the hands resting in the lap, either on your thighs, depending on what tradition you've done meditation in before. If none, in this tradition, we put our right hand is nestled in the left with the thumbs touching, so you could just be quite relaxed though. Shoulders are aligned with the hips. And just imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head. So just imagine some space in between the vertebrae, some space in between all those tiny, tiny muscle fibers. And you're just lengthening, you're getting longer, taller. And your head is, the crown of your head is reaching for the ceiling. Now, as we tip our head forward, just hinge from the top of the neck. So put some length in the back of the neck. The eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose to a spot about 2 inches ahead if they were open. Tip of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, and relax the jaw. And the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth is to, if you ever are meditating for hours and hours on end, and you're getting quite sensitive and quite still, an action as just a smaller swallowing can disturb the meditation. So they say if you put the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, that helps to prevent all that saliva. And it also helps you to stop dribbling, apparently. Anyway, I've never meditated for that long, so I've never had to try it out. So just relax the jaw and bring your awareness to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the forehead and the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth. And bring your awareness to the back of the head and relax the scalp there. And the ears, the inner ear, the temples, the jaw, back of the tongue. Then move your awareness to the back of the neck and just release any tension there. You can just move your head around if you need to. Then bring the head back in line with the shoulders. And allow your shoulders to drop down and your shoulder blades to relax the throat and the chest and the belly. And your limbs, hands, fingers, and feet and toes. And bring the mind back to the breath. And just feel. So for a few minutes, we've just been settling in to our meditation. And it doesn't take very much to get kind of settled. It doesn't take much to get in touch with that still spot inside, that still place. Now notice if there's any sound in your environment and just allow those sounds to be there. So try not to investigate with the mind. And then as you notice those little thought bubbles arising, try not to engage. Try not to criticize yourself, your thoughts. So just be aware of what's arising in the mind. Just notice slight irritation, happiness, excitement. And just allow the thoughts to arise. They'll abide if you don't engage. They will just kind of dissolve on. They won't go anywhere. New thoughts will arise. So we just be like a scientific observer, just watching, being aware of what's there, so it doesn't take you by surprise one day. And then bring to mind some people of our life. So your loved ones, your spouses, children, best friends, work colleagues, people we love, engage with daily, maybe not always daily, but these are friends, our buddies, our mates. And then we have folk in our life who we find a little bit tricky, sometimes difficult, sometimes very painful. They're harmful. We don't like them. And then there's folks in our life who are just total strangers, and we're kind of indifferent to that particular group. What you may notice, and what you may have noticed if you think about it in your life, is that friend, that person you don't like, and that stranger can change place. Not the actual person, the category. I mean, the person too, sorry. So this person who was a complete stranger in your life in 2019 could well be your best friend right now. And, we always think, we're all equal. This is the very beginning teachings on developing bodhicitta and compassion and kindness. And so they start with equanimity. So we try and think of all beings as being the same. Everyone is like us because they all want to be happy. Everybody wants to be happy. No one wants to suffer. And we all have this incredible capacity for this enlightened mind. And we only ever think that it's the beautiful people in our life, the ones we love, who have the capacity for enlightened mind, who are brilliant. The ones that we don't like so much, of course they don't have any of those qualities. And the ones who are strangers, we don't particularly care. So it's just a very interesting way to think about people. Every now and then, just allow yourself to drop into that. So we'll do this meditation for all these people in our life, and by extension, all sentient beings, this purification practice. So we start by thinking there is no negativity that cannot be purified. So there's nothing that we've done that's so kind of horrible or terrible that can't be dealt with. So we start with regret. So we sincerely regret from the depths of our heart anything you've done to harm any living being today or in this life or in past lives. And the reason we're regretting is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. Having harmed others, we are necessarily going to experience some kind of suffering in the future. So we just think we don't want that. Logically, it makes sense to remove those karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. So also can regret our delusions, so our anger and attachment and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, and think again, I'm sick of suffering. So what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we turn to Vajrasattva, the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, actually. We don't see Vajrasattva as kind of like some higher power that we're going to call on to sort of save us. I mean, that's just not the way it is. Vajrasattva has these methods that we can use to purify ourselves. We're healing ourselves by relying upon these methods. So you can imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, and you can also imagine this is your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. Has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot, and he has arms crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right, and the left is holding a bell, which the bell represents wisdom, and the right's holding a vajra, representing indestructibility of compassion. And the crossing of these represents the union, which represents enlightenment, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened by this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva. May I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So a little section on compassion. We rely upon other beings in order to develop compassion, which is a wish for people to be free from suffering. So the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So bring to mind someone you've harmed, and bring to mind someone who's harmed you. And have compassion particularly for that person, because the harm they've caused you will kind of create suffering for them in the future. So I think I'm going to I'm purifying for all of these people's sake, including my own. Excuse me. So we come to the actual medicine, doing the practice of purification, and we start with the body. So Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar light coming from a hose quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around, enters your crown, and pours into your entire body, filling you completely, and it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid, and this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as you recite the mantra. So Tom, if you haven't done this mantra before, just imagine, if you can't keep up with the mantra, if it sounds a bit strange to you, just imagine the nectar is just pouring into you and filling you, and just allow the mantra to wash over you. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Ranarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Sipokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others with your body now. So the moment they see you, feel you, touch you, anything benefits their mind. So next is the purification of the speech. And this time Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of the body all the negativity of your speech, which overflows and disappears in space, not one atom left. So just imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying, talking badly about others behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you, all of this is purified by the powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Sipokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Sipokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Sipokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Sipokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Sipokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Sipokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mibowa Sutokaya Mibowa Sipokaya Mibowa Anarakta Mibowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. So the next is the purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra. This arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on the light switch. The light instantly dispels the darkness. So this is the same here. The light, you imagine the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra and instantly dispels all the negativity. So all your attachment and grasping and neediness, and depression and anger, bitterness and grudges, pessimism, all of it gone, completely gone as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are totally purified. And think there is no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anarakta Mibawa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mibawa Sutokaya Mibawa Supokaya Mibawa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta Vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta Vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahum pe. So now feel you're completely purified, not one atom of negativity left in the mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So the power of resolve, and this is the fourth step in the purification process, and it's a really crucial step. And this is the determination not to harm with your body, speech, and mind. And without this, we're going to keep doing the same old things over and over again. So this determination, this aspiration is to not harm, is like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. So then bring to mind something you've been working on. And then just keep rejoicing in your efforts. Keep working at it. And you're probably noticing there is some change. You don't maybe blurt things out of the mouth quite as easily as before or thoughtlessly as before. So you'll notice that there is some change. There's some discipline happening. There's some rewiring going on. So rejoice in that. And so Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my Guru's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. So that's just a little bit on emptiness. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There's no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, just place your mind there for a moment. You can think that perhaps all phenomena are kind of empty. Everything is empty. They don't exist from their own side. Things are dependent on risings. You can also think that the way things are appearing to you may not necessarily be the way they exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. For Lama Zopa Rinpoche, you uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjunath's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplishes magnificent prayers, honoring the three jewels, savor of myself and others, your disciples. Please, please live long. And for Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us in intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please, please live long. And for Geshe Sher, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path. You are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Everybody, lots of love. Thank you. Thank you for managing things, Shayla and Michael. Sorry you have to do that. It's a bit distracting to your practice. Anyway.